covering the world of professional wrestling. This is the Signature Spot with Chris Toplack.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you very much for tuning into the latest episode of The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. As always, I greatly appreciate your ongoing support, especially on social media. You can like The Signature Spot on Facebook, follow at Chris Toplack on Twitter. You can now like The Signature Spot on Instagram and visit the brand spanking new website, thesignaturespot.com. And for new episodes, subscribe on YouTube, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Spreaker, and also listen on podcast apps such as Overcast. And if you would be so inclined, leave a 5-star review if you enjoy the show. We have a lot to get to on the program today, recapping the Elimination Chamber, NXT talent making their main roster debuts. It's bittersweet. I'm excited to see them there, but I'm also somewhat sad to see them go if they are departing from NXT. The awful Layfaette audience, Daniel Bryan's potential WrestleMania opponent. But off the hop, I want to discuss something very briefly that's been bothering me all week, and it's about the personal lives of professional wrestlers. It's quite mind-boggling that many wrestling fans take it upon themselves to become the moral compass of a performer's personal life and pass immediate judgment. It's completely unnecessary and more than half the time completely inaccurate. As long as it's not hateful or illegal behavior, who cares? Unless you're willing to be openly judged, you shouldn't throw stones at another's home, so to speak. This show and my social channels are not meant to mimic TMZ. So if you ask me about the personal lives of wrestlers, I'm just going to decline to even respond. I frankly don't have the urge to pry into anyone's personal life. It's none of my business, and it doesn't affect the way I view them as a performer. Now that I have that off my chest, on with the show.
Your weekly recap.
Let's start with the Elimination Chamber. It took place last Sunday. Overall, I thought it was a decent event. That main event, particularly between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, I'll get to that momentarily. I believe it took it up an entire grade, at least in my eyes. But let's recap the entire event, starting with Buddy Murphy defeating Akira Tozawa following Murphy's Law, a quick and effective finisher. I love it. One of my favorite on the main roster. When will the WWE graduate the cruiserweights to the main roster? They set a pace that only Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston matched or surpassed. Buddy Murphy is legit, and Akira Tozawa is a former champion. They deserve better. The Usos, Jay and Jimmy, defeated The Miz and Shane McMahon to regain the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, and all was well again. The Usos are arguably the best tag team on the planet today, so it's great to see them back with championship gold around their waist. They became the first team, by the way, to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles for a 4th time. Also, how silly was it that fans doubted the fact that the Usos even stood a chance after Jimmy got into some trouble with the authorities? Again, the WWE said, whatever happens, happens. Performers are held accountable for their own actions. It's not like anything illegal occurred. I'm still not sure what the payoff is going to be between The Miz and Shane. I'm glad that this World Championship experiment is over, hopefully forever. It's really just a matter of who turns on who, but we'll get to that on the SmackDown recap. Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush to become the new Intercontinental Champion. It opened so many possibilities for potential feuds and opponents. I'm really looking forward to this run that Finn Balor is about to have. Death, taxes, and a Ronda Rousey armbar for the tap out. Those 3 things in life are guaranteed. Ronda Rousey defeated Ruby Riott to retain her Raw Women's Championship. Ruby Riott is severely underappreciated. I'm sure you can admit that too. And I believe one of the most underrated, male or female, on the main roster. And just a damn shame she never received that moment to shine against Ronda Rousey. The match was cut far too short. Becky Lynch viciously attacked Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair with a crutch. Let's rewind just a second, though. Charlotte Flair entered the ring. Becky Lynch entered, and she was wearing almost like a safety outfit. It was like reflective. At least she could jog at night. Anyway, she took Stone Cold Steve Austin's advice to heart. DTA, don't trust anyone. So she severely beat up Charlotte. Ronda went to grab a crutch. Becky was basically saying, yeah, go ahead, do it. Join in on the fun. And then attacked Ronda as well. And she legitimately smacked her in the head pretty hard. Ronda was bleeding. That looked nasty. There were many that actually felt maybe she's even concussed. It was that bad. She wasn't, at least on the surface. But Becky came off as a total badass. Again, it's that Stone Cold Steve Austin build. It's working. I just hope they don't overscript it moving forward to WrestleMania. Baron Corbin defeated Braun Strowman in a no DQ match. Of course, he had some help from his friends, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. They assisted Baron Corbin by putting Braun Strowman through not just one, but two stacked tables. It was almost that Shield triple power bomb. And Baron Corbin still has that Olive Garden attire. He's going to serve you breadsticks and salad. I believe that he blew his entire budget for the year just on vest, dress shirt, and slacks. But he wrestles in that all the time, and I'm not quite sure why. He should go back to his old attire. For the WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan retained against AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, and Kofi Kingston in the Elimination Chamber. First and foremost, why is Samoa Joe seemingly always the first one eliminated? I believe this was also the case at Survivor Series. He is so believable and deserves much better. I would have had him in the final three. Jeff Hardy, as expected, he landed his one spot, and then he was eliminated. He landed that Swanton bomb onto AJ Styles on the top turnbuckle. Then he was promptly kicked out of the match. Randy Orton had another picturesque RKO. It came at the expense of AJ Styles, who was attempting to hit the springboard elbow, the phenomenal elbow, that is. And then he was caught into an RKO, so AJ was eliminated. And then Kofi Kingston hit Trouble in Paradise on Randy Orton, and he eliminated him. It was down to 2. And let me tell you, Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston deserve an enormous amount of praise for telling such a compelling story that left us on the edge of our seats. I was there. I was totally sucked into the action, and I was rooting for the underdog to reach the pinnacle of this industry. It took Kofi Kingston 11 years worth of dedication to get there. He's been incredibly reliable. He's never messed up personally or professionally. The man deserves a main event run, and for a split second, maybe it was just me, but I felt that Kofi may have actually pulled it off. Daniel Bryan ultimately retained after that running knee, but we will see them square off in just a matter of weeks. But we'll get to that momentarily. On Raw, the show opened with Triple H announcing that Ricochet, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa will be in action. Amazing. My heart was not ready for that news. 4 of my favorite wrestlers from arguably the best promotion on the planet, at least my favorite. So if this is a permanent venture for all 4 of them, I'm going to severely miss them on Wednesdays. But that being said, they deserve that main roster run. They are legit and 4 of the best on the planet today. Triple H also briefly discussed DX being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. More of that in the news and rumors portion of the program. I'll let you know everyone who will be inducted from D Generation X. Braun Strowman defeated Baron Corbin in a tables match. Will this feud ever end? Then Paul Heyman passed Braun on stage, which led to a very awkward moment. Once Paul nervously made it to the ring, he cut to a video package highlighting Brock Lesnar's accomplishments. And whether you love or hate Brock, you cannot deny his accolades and must respect his success both in the WWE and UFC. Many tend to forget that at one point in the UFC, he was their biggest box office draw. And in the WWE, all throughout his entire career, way back to 2002 up until now, that man can still perform when he puts on his working boots. There are few better. Paul noted that with Seth Rollins, the narrative is quite different this time around because your hero has no hope. Could that be the case come WrestleMania? I guess we'll find out. Finn Balor cut a promo on how winning the Intercontinental Championship was his goal ever since he was a young child. Now he's wearing it. Lio Rush interrupted, who acted as a distraction while Bobby Lashley jumped Finn from behind. Once again, it appears that continuity doesn't matter much in the WWE as Lashley was last seen destroying Lio Rush. But apparently it's just water under the bridge and they've patched up their partnership, at least for now. Maybe it's just on the surface and it's going to break apart. I've actually heard some rumblings that Lio Rush is not very well liked backstage, rubbing people the wrong way, so perhaps they will part and go their separate ways. Ricochet made the save, which led to a big tag team match. Finn Balor took the majority of the beating, while Ricochet had many moments to shine. The finish came when Ricochet landed the 630 splash on Lio Rush. Hell of a debut for the one and only Ricochet. Lucha House Party Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado defeated Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, the former Major Brothers, former tag team champions, in just over 3 minutes. The narrative continues to be that Kurt Hawkins still can't snap that losing skid. I've lost count at this point. What is it, 350 losses in a row? It's a ridiculous number, but at some point, he'll get back to his winning ways. Heavy Machinery was interviewed by Charlie Caruso. Lacey Evans showed up. And then Heavy Machinery proceeded to do the Bushwhackers March. It was a really bizarre segment that I can barely describe, and it served no purpose whatsoever. Evil DIY, that is Tommaso Ciampa, the NXT champion, and the North American champion, Johnny Gargano, teamed up to defeat the Revival in Match of the Night. The crowd was not worthy of this battle, and I'm still going to say it. That tag team match at NXT TakeOver Toronto was the best tag team match I've ever seen, and I was fortunate to watch it live and in person. The finish occurred when DIY performed their super kick knee combo with Ciampa pinning Dawson. Fresh off winning the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Revival have already suffered a big loss, so I'm a little worried that they're losing momentum already. Another awkward Kevin Owens promo aired when he was at a movie theater, essentially complaining about the price of soda and popcorn at the concession stand. I'm really nervous about where they're going with this, and just hope he comes back and is allowed to let loose as either a natural babyface or a heel. Sasha Banks and Bayley came out to celebrate their tag team championship victory. I'm not going to diminish their victory, but it was a somewhat awkward segment. Neither really appeared to have anything of substance to add or say. Sasha even said, "We plan on defending these against anyone past, present, or future on Raw, Smackdown, and even NXT." Second I heard that, I thought, how about the Sky Pirates of Kairi Sane and Io Shirai? Wow, they would like a word, and that would be one hell of a match. Nia Jax and Tamina appeared with microphones, oh God, and they ran down the champions, and then they retreated. And segment over. Again, what was the purpose of that? Drew McIntyre pinned Dean Ambrose following 2 Claymore kicks in just under 2 minutes. Listen, it's obvious they don't have anything in the pipeline for the former world champion and Dean Ambrose. If he's not leaving, why is he staying for this? I mean, they're just doing nothing with him. So it's very likely that he is going, and they're just putting in the minimal effort to get him on television, and that's it. Aleister Black defeated Elias in a very impressive debut. The Dutch Destroyer had a great opportunity to showcase his skills. He hit a picture-perfect Black Mass for the victory. And while Black is deceptively good on the microphone, I don't feel his pre-match promo captured the essence of his character, but that's the beauty of the Raw writing staff. I know many harp on them, but that was a great example of how they just need to let talent do their own thing. Ronda Rousey retained the Raw Women's Championship after she forced Ruby to tap out to the armbar. You might be thinking, Chris, that's deja vu, but the good news, this match was much more competitive than their battle at the Elimination Chamber. Raw was slightly better than average and featured 4 great NXT debuts, but the crowd was unreasonably dead throughout the entire show. They did not deserve those NXT debuts. My advice to the WWE, skip Lafayette during the next tour of the South. Bully Ray, a.k.a. Bubba Ray, summarized it best in a tweet. Here's what he had to say. "I always hated when fellow wrestlers would say to me, 'Wow, that crowd sucked tonight.' My normal response was, 'No, you suck tonight.' So take it from me, that crowd sucked last night. When you're that dead from the second Raw goes on the air, you're the problem." Dear City of Lafayette, be more like the vocal New Orleans crowd during SmackDown Live. Sincerely, every appreciative pro wrestling fan. Shane McMahon kicked off SmackDown Live to announce that due to their impressive debuts on Raw the evening before, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, and Ricochet would all be in action competing on SmackDown Live. This prompted The Miz to come out, but not because of that. He came out to admit that he used Shane to get closer with his father, but then he let them both down on Sunday. He wanted an immediate rematch. This brought out the Usos, who obviously disagreed. They said, whoa, I don't think so. They ran The Miz down. Shane stepped in. So it looks like the rematch will occur at Fastlane. Also, apparently, Mr. Miz will be at ringside. Expect either Shane or The Miz turning on each other, leading to a match at WrestleMania. Next, we were treated to Aleister Black versus Andrade with Zelina Vega. If you haven't seen their match from NXT TakeOver New Orleans, watch it immediately following this episode. It was simply phenomenal and one of the best matches of 2018. And while this affair only lasted less than 9 minutes, it was still a very good SmackDown match. Black won via the Black Mass. Aleister Black is truly a special talent with a unique presence that few can match. Sky is the limit for him. Following a backstage segment that saw the Bar mock DIY, a tag team match between both teams was logically made. The finish came when Tommaso Ciampa rolled up Cesaro for the 1-2-3. In my humble opinion, it was match of the night. Gargano and Ciampa defeated the Revival on Raw and the Bar on SmackDown. That looks good on the resume, and that's one hell of a week for DIY. An interview with Asuka was conducted in the middle of the ring where she mentioned not wanting to discuss Becky or Charlotte because she defeated them both, and mainly just wanting to know who's ready for Asuka. This brought out Mandy Rose, which led to a match between the two. Lacey Evans' music played. She strolled down the ramp, waved, and then proceeded to the back. Perhaps a reminder of, hey, I exist, that's it, bye. There's rumblings she may be in line for a big push, though. Following a knee to the eye, Mandy faked an injury. She was very convincing, by the way. She took advantage of this situation by rolling up Asuka for the surprise victory. I saw many upset by this. Again, it's just one loss. I'm sure it's not going to spell the end of Asuka's push or title reign, so let's just pump the brakes on that. Ricochet defeated Eric Young with the 6:30 splash. Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf were there to witness it live at ringside. An impressive performance that once again showcased Ricochet's talents. Back-to-back performances to support the He Is Spider-Man come to life. All 6 Elimination Chamber competitors competed. Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy teamed up to take on the team of Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. After hitting Trouble in Paradise, Kofi Kingston once again pinned the WWE champion and, according to Shane McMahon, earned a one-on-one championship match against Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. 11 years of being a dependable talent has led to this moment. So those that feel that this is an overnight push, you've got another thing coming. Yet another solid episode of SmackDown. I will fully admit that more often than not, I do not watch 205 Live, actually live. I have to catch up on the weekend, even though I'm a fan of the show. But I'm just going to have to say, Cedric Alexander versus Mike Kanellis was one of my favorite matches of the week. It was ultra competitive. May have even been the best match I've seen from Mike Kanellis so far on the main roster, although we haven't really seen much from him. But his character continues to develop, and with Maria by his side, perhaps we will see him reunite the kingdom with someone else. I thought it was going to be TJ Perkins, but it doesn't look like that will be the case. Either way, I think there's a lot of value in his character, especially, again, with Maria by his side, who has stepped up as of late. And Cedric Alexander, always dependable. They call him the soul of 205 Live. There's no question about that. He won via the lumbar check. Arya Davari had a great outing against Johnny Lyons. Never heard of him. And then Humberto Carlello defeated TJP, who is now seemingly covered in tattoos. How did that happen? So essentially, if you're just catching up on 205 Live, they're having a tournament to see who will challenge Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania 35. This was announced by Drake Maverick. Next week, it's Kalisto versus Tony Nese and Brian Kendrick versus Drew Gulak. Aleister Black defeated Roderick Strong to open up NXT. 3 nights, 3 opponents, same result, Black Mass. The Undisputed Era came out to attack Aleister, but Ricochet made the save. Then we had Mia Yim in action. She won against Xia Li via Protect Your Neck, which you may know as Gail Kim's Eat Defeat finisher. Following the victory, Baszler, Shafir, and Duke attacked Yim. 3 of the new NXT signees, whose names I do not recognize, I don't even think they were mentioned yet, came out for the save, but did not offer much assistance. And then in the main event, following 2 Dream Valley drivers and a well-placed Purple Rainmaker, the Velveteen Dream, DREAM, one of my favorites, pinned Johnny Gargano to become the new North American champion. A shame for Gargano, who never successfully defended his North American championship, and as for the Velveteen Dream, the future is very bright for him indeed. The excellent near falls in the latter part of the match really built up the drama and had the crowd on their feet. Great main event with a satisfying conclusion. Dream on.
The latest industry news and rumors.
It was first confirmed by ESPN that D-Generation X will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Inductees will include Triple H, Shawn Michaels, who will be only the second 2-time inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, joining Ric Flair, Chyna, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and X-Pac. But you can't make all the fans happy, though, as many were complaining that Chyna will not be inducted as an individual. Stay calm. Her time will come. Fans ask for ice cream, you give them ice cream, and they want frozen yogurt. A win is a win. She will be there individually at some point. Dave Meltzer is reporting that the WWE is considering bringing back an inactive wrestler to compete against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Some of the names speculated include Bray Wyatt, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Kurt Angle, John Cena, Batista, and The Undertaker. According to Jeremy Botter of Bleacher Report, unless plans change, Daniel Bryan will be facing Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 35 on April the 7th. Ty Dillinger has confirmed his release from the WWE. He took to his Twitter account to further clarify. Here's what he had to say. Before rumors begin to spread, let me set things straight ahead of time. This evening, I requested my release from WWE. In the past 5.5 years with them, I have seen and done some wonderful things. Things that I'm very proud of and will never forget. I have met and have worked with unquestionably some of the greatest talent on this earth, and the pleasure has been all mine. I feel at this time this decision, as extremely difficult as it was, is what is best for myself in WWE. I wish to continue to grow as a performer and offer those paying hard-earned money to watch a show I'm performing on a little more of myself. To the male and female locker rooms, coaches and producers, to the production, ring crew, all the way up to the very top of WWE, and most of all, the fans, I wish you all the very best, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything. A shame he hasn't been utilized more. Obviously, they just did not see a lot in his character on the main roster. They never really felt it was a fit. They never really wrote him into the show. He had some great momentum at some points, feeling as though he's going to have like a run with the United States Championship. It just never really came to fruition. And again, he will probably be better served going somewhere else. I'm sure he will make his money and he will have a great run. He's an excellent worker who definitely deserves a heck of a lot better. Chris Hemsworth will portray Hulk Hogan in a biopic that will be directed by Todd Phillips, who is best known for directing the Hangover trilogy. Bradley Cooper and Eric Bischoff will also both serve as a producer, and Hulk Hogan is in the mix, of course. He will serve as a consultant, so I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of revisionist history if you hear the stories that Hulk has shared over the years, because in some cases, Andre the Giant has weighed 400 pounds, 500 pounds, 600 pounds, 700 pounds. Depends on the day that you ask Hulk that question on. Evolve announced that Velveteen Dream will be replacing Ricochet on 2 shows. Here's what they tweeted. Breaking news. Velveteen Dream will replace Ricochet at Evolve on March 15th in Melrose and March 16th in Queens. Ricochet will still be at both events for meet and greets. Tickets and info at wwnlive.com. Shane Helms recently posted a picture of himself alongside Abyss backstage. The two have assumed their roles as backstage producers. Marty Scurll's opponent for the ROH 17th anniversary pay-per-view has been announced. Marty will be facing Kenny King on March the 15th at Sam's Town Live in Las Vegas. On the card, Jay Lethal will defend his ROH World Championship against Matt Taven. The Briscoes will defend their World Tag Team Championships against PCO and Brody King. And Rush will face Bandito. Again, a very solid card. And that will do it for this edition of the Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. I wanted to save a bit of an announcement towards the end of the program. It's not 100% confirmed, but I might be going to Double or Nothing. Yes, that is right. And StarCast as well. If this is the case, if this comes to fruition, and again, it's pretty damn legitimate, I will be documenting my entire journey. How amazing will that be? I consider that almost once in a lifetime. So yes, if I'm there, you're going to be there too, through my eyes or my phone or through my microphone or whatever the case may be. And that's all she wrote. A nice condensed show full of plenty of content. It was a busy week. It wasn't just me. I was going through the notes of the show and I thought, okay, a lot transpired over the past week. If you would be so kind, like and share the show. Tell your friends, family, and fellow wrestling fans to tune into the Signature Spot on a weekly basis. And until next Thursday, happy trails to you until we meet again.
This concludes another episode of The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. For new episodes, subscribe on YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. And don't forget to follow The Signature Spot on Facebook for exclusive clips, polls, and opinions.